Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War Incredible Bulk event in which the Ogretaur is added to the game. So this is our first full week since version 7.2. 7.2 of course adding a bunch of UI changes as well as several changes to the good old Underspire to make dead ends a little bit more rewarding. However, we have been having a ton of glitches as of 7.2 of course. The Underspire ended up resetting for everyone. Some people got double reset, some people got double reset and none of the new rooms, so that's awful. We were in that camp. As well as many other glitches, like your collection not showing that you have everything. Like right now, obviously we have those faction troops, but it shows that we do not have them, and then they randomly appear, and gosh, did it make it so hard to make all these teams, because half these troops would not show up, and I had to keep, like, reloading the game, clicking on them. Eventually they get in there. You still own all your copies, it's just a little bit glitched in if it shows you do or do not have it. But anyways, all that aside, let's get into all the things that we have going on this week for the first week of November, as well as Halloween. So, first things first, we have the Ogretaur. So this troop, you can stock up on Brown Green Arcanes if you end up needing it. The troop itself, probably not going to get used much. Very similar to Dragonet, except it's a Centaur. It destroys a random row, so it's a mana accumulation. It is destroyed, so you get the full amount of mana accumulation. It then deals a bunch of damage to a enemy, so you get to choose, and inflicts 1 to 3 random stats effects to it. I believe Dragonet is 1 to 4 or 2 to 4. I actually forget, it's been so long since I've used it, but it's a similar premise that does a lot of random negative stats effects to them. Of course, it doesn't say negative, but it does imply negative there. You do get a little bit of score reduction on it, so it might be usable for some things this week, but for the most part, you're not really going to be using it. As far as like Centaur tanks, it's normally going to be outpaced by Ogretaur, and if you're looking for just like a tank from the kingdom itself, you would go with that one Wild Court green-brown that just gains barrier and a bunch of durability and attack and board control, so it's basically just this thing, but better, except it doesn't have the stats effect. It's basically just an alternative Dragonet for giant centaurs instead of for specifically just dragons. Just dragons is the other one. But anyways, so overall, nothing too good there, but it does bring Divinian Fields up to a star. I believe it's 26 as of right now. And you end up getting a little bit extra tribute reward from that. I believe it also reached to 25 level 2, so you get that 2,000 extra gold per day too. Which, not a lot, but it stacks up over time, of course. Anyways, as far as things that we have going on this week, main noteworthy things, actually 2 of them. So, of course, we actually have a special event. This is the Halloween event. We were originally supposed to get this last week, 1 week prior to today. However, the 7.2 patch got delayed, and apparently should have been delayed even further. However, it got delayed, and with that delay, of course, now we have the event now instead of last week's beginning of week. So, unfortunately, we won't be able to get the new armor in time for Halloween for 2 reasons. One is you'd have to spend 1 billion gems to get it today, but the other reason is the previous year's armor is currently here, the Witch's armor. Also, apparently that one just disappeared. Wonderful. Anyways, I think it's because we're using a class that doesn't have a secondary thing, but anyways, this is actually supposed to be not the Witch's armor, but a new werewolf armor. So I'm not sure exactly what the deal is with this. I'm not sure what will happen if you try getting this Witch's armor. Obviously, if you already have it, but I mean, if you don't have it from last week or from last year and then try getting it, and then, like, what happens if the other one comes around? I have no clue. Or maybe this is just their way of adding the other one back. I have no clue. But we're supposed to have the werewolf armor there. So buy it at your own risk at the moment. Though if you didn't get the witch armor from last year, maybe rush this and try to get it and see what happens. I have no clue. But anyways, generally what you go about doing these is buy 1 copy of the legend, 6 copies of whatever the pet is, 5 to initially get it maxed, and a 6 to get the golden version. Whatever the new armor is, which currently is not a new armor, however, it will be replaced with the werewolf one probably in the next few days or week or so, whenever they get around to fixing it. And if you want, though not that required, since it's not a unique loot, you can also get a cheap Orb of Power if you're still looking to get those Zolgoths and everything else. You can end up getting it from there. It's pretty cheap to end up doing so relative to other means within the game. Like, for example, right now, I think they're trying to sell one for, what, 50 bucks right now? Which obviously do not do. When you can get one basically for free over the next 2 weeks. Maybe not for free, but you can get it for like a couple hundred gems. Essentially, what you want to do with these events is you have to use a pure purple team, so just use whatever Thrall Leprechaun team you want, and just use it with whatever damage sources you want, and just kill these out over and over again. You basically want to spend 50 gems per day to be able to get all rewards. On one day, you'll need to spend 150, as in buy this twice. But as long as you get this once every single day, you will have enough points to get all the noteworthy ones, which is the new armor whenever they fix it, the Bloodfang Legends, and the pet that goes with it 6 times, so you get the golden version. And if you have some spare or you want to go a little bit extra, you can go for the Orb of Power, but that is still covered with the 50 gems per day and then 100 gems on additional day. So 150 on one day and 50 on every other day, essentially. So you could also get the Orb of Power with that, so works out nicely. Or you can spend even less gems if you only want to get the 3 uniques and skip the Orb of Power. So we have that event going on. Other events that we have going on is the Journey. So as far as Journey is concerned, a little bit weird of a coloration on this thing. I was expecting this thing to be yellow, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to be yellow, and they just accidentally made it green, but it is green. As many of you know, we've been getting a lot of these like infinite loop journey troops. However, we're missing one for yellow. And this is now our second one for green, before we have a single one for yellow. And it would make sense, because a lot of centaurs do center around the yellow coloration. It's a little bit weird. Even every mana link that's available in this kingdom is yellow, not green. So just a little bit of a weird coloration on it. Green still works pretty well with centaurs, but not as good as yellow would have. It's really weird too, as it is both green and yellow. But anyways, it's a standard infinite loop. The War Gear one is going to be better generally as far as team composition. However, one thing that this does have over it is it does become shiny. It can become shiny level 2, and doing so will give it 1 additional gem spawn. Is that additional gem spawn worth using a pure centaur team? Probably not. You'd most likely just stick with the War Gear version that you could already do off of Todd, whatever his full name is. It's always call him Todd. But the War Gear version is going to be superior even with the 1 less gem spawn. Not to mention you might not even be able to get this to shiny level 2. But if you do want to, of course, this is a perfectly fine week to use shiny keys. I personally will be skipping on it myself. I will be skipping this one. However, it is a week that some people might consider using shiny keys, as this is among one of the better options. I just feel like I'm going to be using the green War Gear one more often, so I personally am not going to upgrade this one. Though it is a perfectly fine week to use them if you do want to go upgrade this one. It'll definitely make this week easier, and beyond that, it will still have viability going into the future, especially if we get some better centaurs, as centaurs just doesn't have much synergy with itself at the moment. Anyways, as far as other things that we have going on throughout the week, this Tuesday, we have ourselves the Wild Court faction. We actually just had this the other week on the weekend event, but of course now this is the Tuesday version of it. Same restriction, green-red. You can even just run whatever team you ran for that, though I did show some slightly different ones this time around. As far as Wednesday, we're just getting the Centaur Pet, so a little bit of extra bonus for them. A lot of restrictions related to that this week. Thursday, we're having the Oracle Hero class, arguably among one of the worst few hero classes in the game. Definitely worst 3. Not sure where in that 3 it is. Probably like the second worst, third worst, somewhere around there. That's really bad. Has no usability. The only time you'd ever use it is pretty much with that new Infinite Loop Green troop for the Centaurs, and that is about it. And this Friday, as you can see right here, we have Bounty Hunter, and I'll be bringing in a new troop, I think, for Karkaroff, I want to say. And that's definitely going to be pretty important to go and end up maxing out another star for that. One step closer to its good old 30 star. Speaking of which, I think Golvania... Oh, no, the Golvania is already a 30 star. Oh, no, I think the new troop from the thing actually does make it 30 star. Hey, Trippy Treddy. And what I'm talking about is the one from the... Oh, nice, 31. The one from the Journey... No, not Journey. The one from the... Whatever it's called. This event ends up making... Gosh, I just literally said it. Golvania. End up making Golvania a 30-star kingdom, as it is associated to Golvania. However, it is a purple kingdom, so do not upgrade it. Even though it is in theory 30-starable, do not 30-star it, as there are 4 other magic-based kingdoms that you'd want to do first. Blighted Lands, Darkstone, Karkaroff, and, of course, Silverglade. So do not upgrade Golvania beyond level 26 and level 16, or even 15 if you don't want to spend a little bit extra. But anyways, so other things that we have going on. We also have a new Mythic this Friday. So of course we have the Bounty Hunter event, standard Bounty Hunter. You just run Takaraki, Ogress, all that. Pretty much same premise as always. Just plop down the new troop in 4th slot, you're good to go. Get max points. As far as the other thing we have going on, though, it is the first Friday of the month, so we will be getting a new Mythic. That new Mythic is going to be creating a bunch of burning gems per extra turn, while having a pretty decent amount of true damage. It doesn't have any follow-up on it, but it does have a pretty hefty hit. There's a lot of burning gems on the board, so it might find some usage. I feel like its final trait will be used way more than its actual ability. However, its ability is not horrible, especially when combined with other true damage options. It's a little bit weird that's burning, because burn does not have any synergy with true damage, as burn, you know, hits your armor first and then moves to your HP. A little bit weird that it wasn't like poison or something, though there is no poison gems currently in the game. Who knows, maybe we'll eventually add them. But anyways, actually, that would be an interesting way to poison your own team, too, for troops that actually benefit from being poisoned or bled or something. Add in, like, a poison gem or a bleed gem, leaving them on the board, and then letting the enemy take them. Currently, that doesn't exist. The only mechanic that exists for that so far is burning. But who knows, maybe we'll eventually get the other mechanics. There's some gameplay that could be kind of synergized around that. As far as Soulforge is concerned, I actually didn't take a peek at it. Is there anything good? Hey, the Dragonstone Guardian that we got the other week in event keys is in here. I wouldn't say go out of your way for it. However, this is the first time it's been available if you did an event key for it the other week. That's kind of funny. That's not really relevant, though. Oddly enough, Astral Mother is here, even though you can also get it in the event key drop table. Oh yeah, that reminds me, we need to go over the event key drop table. But as far as her, it's not worth going every way for. She's really underwhelming Mythic. I think we put her almost like a D tier or something. She's just really underwhelming. Last time we covered a tier list. I would say the most relevant thing, I guess, then is all Soulforge's Guard's Avatar. You probably see me using this a lot on Tuesday teams whenever I mention it for these videos, though we didn't mention it this time because it does not synergy it. Actually, yes, it could. You can still use it for red, but you can't use Sir Quentin Hadley, so no. But basically, anytime you have access to brown or yellow in a Underworld, you can essentially run this instead of Rowan. As time goes on, Guard's Avatar actually scales a little bit better than Rowan does, as it benefits a little bit more from magic and overall damage compared to Rowan. They both gain the overall same amount of damage from armor, but Guard's Avatar gains slightly better value from magic, basically doing twice as much damage per magic that it gains. Even though it's based on half of its magic, it's still hitting 4 enemies with it, effectively giving it 2 damage per every single magic that it gets, whereas Rowan only gets 1 damage per every single magic that it gets. So over a long period of time, and just as stats get higher through other game modes that might give it, Guard's Avatar does become slightly better than Rowan, which is one of the reasons why you see us using it a lot on Tuesday events, as it just kind of scales once you have those better stats. But of course, if you have access to Rowan like this week, you just go Rowan build instead. But they're both basically the same premise, but this one's a mythic and Rowan is free from Fars of Thorn, so this is the harder one to get and definitely something you want to consider at some point when you want to start just making Tuesday faction events just a little bit easier. Obviously, there's other things you can run on those days, but it is one of the simplest, just one-shot, insta-kill kind of options that you can end up doing. That works out really well, has only 12 mana that it needs to get because of the 50% mana start, and just overall great thing for factions, and you pretty much run it for nothing else in the current state of the game. As far as weapons are concerned, did we get any of the Ruby pieces? I always keep forgetting to mention these. No, we don't have anything relevant to that. Anyways, the most relevant thing here is definitely book. We have Purple Book, obviously Purple Guild War Day. If I'm not mistaken, Guild Wars is next week, so you might want to pick this up. You'll have it for next Guild War, already good to go. Aside from that, there really isn't anything to pick up unless you just want it for the event. Like, I believe I used one of these explodey weapons, like the Eye of Orion on the one of the cheaper teams or something. But they are here if you need them to assist with your events. However, for the most part, you're not really going to need them. So if you're just looking for anything for overall value, it's definitely doomed to book. But there might be a few utility items here and there that you might want to pick up for the events, given the restrictions of Divinian Fields and Centaurs being pretty common this week across all of the various game modes. Speaking of which, I think I actually missed one. Let's see. Campaign, no, Adventure Board, Journey, Event. Why do I feel like I forgot to click on one of them? We have Journeys. So, of course, this is just the one that you have to use a new troop. You get 3 times the score if you end up using it. You just infinite loop with Centaurs. So it's the same premise as always. Just take the bigger room, infinite loop with the new Centaur troop, you're good to go. Ideally, you want to buy deep enough that you can have multiple of it. Honestly, just 4 of her on a team is enough to win the entire event. And you can have 4 of her just by buying up to tier 4, which I think is 500 gems, I want to say. So for 500 gems, you get a weapon. You have enough copies of her. Make sure when you ascend her, do ascend her with 2 blue orbs. Do not ascend her with the actual ascend button. Otherwise, you'll have 1 copy of her instead of 6. And with 6, you can run 3 of her, 2 of her, 4 of her, you know, any amount of her, more than 1. Whereas if you ascend her, you will only have 1 singular copy, and that will be bad, because then you can only run 1 copy of her. So do make sure to do that. We had the purple event. Why do I still feel like I'm forgetting to click on one of these events? I am not used to this new tab system. This also made us forget to go over to event keys. So, of course, event keys is for Divinian Fields. With Divinian Fields, we can see almost everything that we owned. Oh, look at this. Look, it says I don't have Wild Knight. Do you want to see us have Wild Knight? I had this issue too. You know how long it took me to make these teams today compared to normal with this glitch? But look, I'll show you that we have Wild Knight right here. Wait, where is it? Where is it? Because I had to keep going like in and out of menus, clicking on things, trying to like get it to go. What team did I show it on? Honestly, I'm just about to click on everything until we see it here. Wait, we'll find it. Honestly, I have no clue which one I used it on. I know for sure I used this on one of them. Oh, wait, maybe I replaced it back out, though. No! Because, oh, no, I did right there. Wait, where'd it go? Pure Faction team. Wild Knight into Triple Wendigo. There it shows I do not own Wild Knight, and here's, of course, our Wild Knight on a team. But yeah, that's a glitch that's been going on. This isn't the first patch that did it either. Oh, and look, now it says we own it. So, of course, it still remembers that you have all the copies and everything. It just makes it really annoying because, like, right now, I can't put, like, if I want Puka on my team right now, for example, let's say for whatever reason it was, like, viable in this team, and we wanted to put it in our second slot for mana accumulation or whatever it does, I don't remember. I think it's mana drain. But let's say we wanted to put it on our team. I can't drag it right now. This is me trying to drag it. This obviously drags instantly. This one does not want to drag, so really annoying to make any team with that glitch right now. If the thing that you need is grayed out, but just keep going in the menu, click on it, do a bunch of other stuff, and it'll eventually like appear as like usable. But anyways, so event key drop table, are they worth using? No. Do not use event keys this week. Oh, look, there it is. Now it's usable. Anyways, but the only things that are not in drop table are, of course, all the Wild Court troops, and beyond that, is that it? Yeah, just the Wild Court troops. So everything else. Oh, sorry, and the new Infinite troop. So, for example, the where to go? The one for the current event, the Hippolyta. So Hippolyta you can only get from the current event. and the 4 faction troops you can only get from the faction. But everything else that you see here is obtainable through event keys. If you were to be opening some event keys, you're probably just looking for some kind of utility troop like Centurion, really good with skull spam, particularly Zolgoth. Ward Breaker is somewhat okay for some things this week. It's a dragon, it's a centaur. It has always notoriously had too high of a mana cost. It used to be even higher. I think it used to be like 32, lower to 30. But still a little bit too high. Still feels like it needs to be like 28 or something. But it's just basically a mass explode into a full AoE damage. It's decent at times. You generally don't use it once you have some of the better dragons, like the gem dragons. But it's still not bad. It has extra turn potential still, which is nice, though not guaranteed from the board clear. But it's mostly just a bunch of utility troops, nothing you really need. You could live without a single troop in this kingdom, other than for upgrading purposes. So even this, we already have the green infinite loop. You could just use the war gear version. It's a pretty forgettable kingdom, mostly because centaurs are a bit underwhelming in the current state of the game. Not sure if they're ever going to get a revamped kingdom rework or something else to kind of make them a little bit stronger, but in the current state of the game, pretty skippable. Anyways, let's go now into the teams then. So if we go over to here, we can go over all the teams for the week. So let's start all the way from the journey. Of course, journey, you have to use the Hippolyta in order to get extra points. 2 times for having her at the lowest rarity, up to 3 times for having her at the highest rarity. This does not stack if you use multiple. However, there's no penalty to using multiple, so you can use 2, 3, 4 of them, and you'll still get the same amount of points of 3 times. But always make sure you're using at least 1. Otherwise, you'll be getting substantially less points when doing the journey event. As far as the journey, just take whatever the highest level battle is that gives you the most points, and just keep doing that over and over again. With this team, we're basically just spamming Hippo, as with pretty much a lot of teams this week. We're just spamming this thing until we win, and just using a pure Centaur team to go with it. For a low rarity team, we're using the same thing, just using Ogretaur as a little mini tank. Unfortunately, we can't use that one wild court troop because he actually counts as a Fey monster or something. I don't remember, but it's not Centaur for whatever reason. And because of that, we can't actually run him for the full boost ratio. You could still do it if you feel like you need a better tank, but you will be getting slightly less mana accumulation from the Hippolyta, so do be wary of that if you do go down that route. But it might be needed if you have really low stats, just to tank up, not with Ogretaur, but with the other one, the Wild Court troop we just saw earlier. This guy, Wild Knight, he counts as a Fey Knight, not as a Centaur. However, he's way better at tanking than anything in this entire kingdom, so if you feel like you're dying too much, just put him in there. It'll make your gem spawn worse, but it'll make your tank ability pretty much unkillable as far as that troop is concerned. As far as faction, this is for Green Red Wild Court. We just had a weekend event for this pretty recently. So, of course, you can just run pretty standard Rowan, either with Black Manacle or Skio Shield into all that. For the higher rarity team, we just ended up going with a Infinite Loop Dragon team. If you don't have Diamantina, you can double up on Rubraf, or just even go single Rubraf. That should be fine. And if you don't have that, you can technically go Wardbreaker this week if you really want to go down that route with it. But it's basically just using the Huntmaster to Infinite Loop into whatever best AoE red dragons you have access to. So whatever that may be. And Wand is kind of just here for a little bit of mana accumulation, and in case we need Curse for whatever reason to get rid of Submerge. And for the Pure faction, same as the other week, just run Wild Knight into a bunch of the Legends. All you need is one single Wild Knight, and that's enough to win. You can even double up on it if you feel like it, just to make sure you don't die. But otherwise, just as a Wild Knight with the support of the Wendigo, just to give it a little bit of damage. And otherwise, just keep spamming Wild Knight until you win. Next, we have the Underspire. Oh yeah, maybe that was what I forgot to mention. So Underspire is the Vineyard Fields. Of course, we do have the new mechanic as of 7.2, where we have those special dead ends. Assuming it didn't glitch out again and made your entire delve not have any dead ends, or any of the special dead ends, because we scouted out the entire floor and they weren't there. But I assume this week it hopefully should be fine. Obviously, we already got compensation in the mail. Actually, I didn't even mention that earlier, but yeah, we did get compensation in the mail. They're probably sending more compensation in the mail. I still want to send a support ticket because I'm not sure if they're giving additional compensation for all the people who had no dead ends, or none of the new rooms. But yeah, so far we got this, and I think it mentioned somewhere in all this mess that they're doing something more in 24 hours or something. Do make sure, I didn't mention this yet, do not claim this. There apparently was some kind of glitch with this. I personally wasn't going to claim it till tonight, but honestly, I might just keep waiting several days, because apparently some people's lanterns were resetting or something when they take this. And of course, your lanterns aren't supposed to reset or anything anymore. They're just supposed to keep accumulating over time. For example, I actually have 4 right now because I actually bought some last week just to kind of test that mechanic, because we might actually start doing it now just because it's pretty cheap if we only use a few a week now that they carry over. But you can see we have 4 lanterns right now. One of those is actually, yeah, all those should be from last week. We used 3. I'm not sure where we got the other one, but yeah, sure. Oh, I think it was because we... actually, I don't remember, but yeah, I think we had that many by the end. But whatever. They did carry over, is the bottom line. But apparently there was some kind of glitch with taking that, so don't take that mail yet if you haven't already. And if you did experience the glitch, I'm pretty sure it'll fix that glitch of the glitch compensation at some point. A lot of glitches this week. Anyways. So, what teams we're up to? Underspire. So yeah, Underspire, same thing as always, except you have those new dead end rooms, so you get a little bit more loot, assuming they're there this time and not glitched out. Next we have the lower Underspire team, which is basically just spam the Hippo a billion times. We're using a backup mana accumulation of the Eye of Orion. Not only is this a mana accumulation, but it also has resummon, so if your first slot dies out, you'll have a replacement to keep putting in there. This is a Soulforged weapon that is available this week, so it's not too hard to get as a newer player. So if you need that as a little bit more support to keep tanking, it should be fine. Otherwise, just keep spamming this until you win, as is pretty much most events this week. As far as the Oracle class event, we're going with triple Astral Spirit into Black Manacle. You can go into a yellow weapon if you want, because all of the links within this kingdom are all air links, so you'll get a lot of yellow. So you can go for +3 additional yellow into some kind of weapon like Dawnbringer or something similar, or that one really free one that you get from Leonis Empire for 250 wins with the hero class. That one Blade, I forget its name, Dancing Blades or something, Dancing Daggers, whatever it is. It's like a full AoE cheap yellow weapon. It's all enemies if you don't have Dawnbringer. But we're just going down the Black Manacle route. You get this for free just from leveling up. As soon as you're like level 200, 300-ish, you'll probably already have this laying around, just from upgrading your brown and purple mastery. We're doing it Archmagus just to give it a little bit more mana, and just going full AoE into a 20% Devour there. And Astral Spirit is just to clean up if they have Revive. It has Empower into an insta-kill, and a little bit of board control. Though do keep in mind it is remove, not destroy, so you do not get the mana accumulation from everything that you end up removing from the board. You only get the board control from it and the damage. Next, we have the purple event. We have two teams for this. Purple event, of course, is referring to the Halloween event that we have going on for the next 2 weeks. It's starting today and will last until 2 weeks from now. So 2 Mondays from now, you'll won't be able to gain any more points, but that final week, you'll still be able to go and use your points. So basically, it's a 3-week-long event. The first 2 weeks, this week and next week, you can earn points. And then that following week, you can't earn any more points 3 weeks from now. However, that week, you can spend your points on if you have any spears. So you likely would have already spent them all by then, but they kind of set that up in case you know, people are away or any similar thing, just so all your points don't get wiped instantly as the reset occurs. Anyways, next and finally here, we have the lower purple event team. This one is basically just for cheaper teams. Essentially, every single one of these is Leprechaun Thrall, and you just put your best damage sources in there. So this one is Black Manacle Atlanta. Atlanta you get for free from Divinian Fields Kingdom, and Black Manacle is you get for free just from leveling up your hero. Thralls is a common that you have laying around, and Leprechaun is hopefully an ultra rare that you have laying around. And it's super cheap, just build into any Thrall Leprechaun into whatever biggest damage sources you have. Everything from the super cheap to all the way to Diamantina Wand. So whatever you happen to have within that range. And I didn't actually put it here, but it's the same Bounty Hunter team as always. It's just Ogress, Tagraki, Corpsemere, and then whatever the new Bounty Captain is. And you just run that the entire time and you're good to go, as far as Bounty Hunter is concerned. But anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up for now. If you still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Feel free to leave a like on the video. Also helps out a lot and is greatly appreciated. I'll catch you all later. I do have jury duty this week, so we're probably not doing any midday stream. Shouldn't really affect our Gems of War videos or anything else, or, you know, our streams or anything. Other than the fact that we're probably not going to be able to do a midday Halloween stream, but, you know, we'll still do our Halloween stream Gems of War tomorrow night, and have a special code to hand out too. One of the old Halloween pets, I think the 2018 one, if I'm not mistaken, the Voodoo doll. So if you don't have that, we'll be handing that out tomorrow night on stream, as we do every single night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll catch you guys then. Hope you all have a wonderful Halloween, and I'll catch you guys soon. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching.